Good afternoon, this is Iron Prepper with a quick video on fuels, and I see a lot of videos out on YouTube, and I just thought I'd put out there my thoughts on what I do for fuel. And one of the things I do for fuel is make sure that I have different types on hand, and you can see different container types, and we'll get into that in a second. One of the first things I make sure, this is actually kerosene, and I always make sure that the fuels I have can do redundant things. In other words, can operate redundant pieces of equipment. The kerosene I have here is good for a couple different heaters. We have kerosene heaters, but also we have Aladdin lamps. And Aladdin lamps operate off of kerosene, and they put out a tremendous amount of light. So that's what I use the kerosene for. The propane, I have these 1-pound cylinders, and right next to it I have the 30-pound cylinder, and these smaller ones we use for our cook stoves, we use for our lanterns, and we have a Big Buddy heater. These plug in on the side of the heater as well, so I can use them for that. The bigger propane bottles we can also use with our Big Buddy, we can use with our grill, we can use with several different things we have that are different than what we use these for. This we have about 15 to 20 gallons on hand at any one time. Propane, I have just a ton of these little guys. I pick up a couple every week. And then I have 2 30-pounders and a couple smaller ones as well. So we probably have 100 pounds of propane on hand at any one time, but not necessarily one big tank in different types of vessels. And then we have the fuel. This is just regular leaded gas. Obviously car, generator. We have a stove, which is a Yukon M1950, can run off of unleaded gas as well. And so we have on hand at any one time 60 gallons. We have friends who are farmers who have 500,000 gallons on hand. Where we're at, that's not very practical. The second thing we always have on hand, and I've talked about, is diesel fuel. Diesel fuel, we have about 130 gallons on hand. And when we talk about redundancy with diesel fuel, the Yukon 1950 can use diesel fuel as well, just as well as the obviously the truck. And that's the main point. We also have white fuel on hand right there, the Coleman. And once again, this is one of the things I probably pick up 2 every month. And what we can use those for is, once again, the Yukon 1950, because it takes various fuels. And then we have Coleman products that use that, stoves and lanterns as well. One of the things we always make sure, especially here in the wintertime, is we have some type of fuel preservative, whether it be this product we use for regular gas, or this product I use for my diesel to prevent gelling in it. Excuse me. And in Illinois, it can get pretty cold. Average temperature is low 30s. And I do have gelling problems, but when I put that in, I don't have any problems at all. One of the things I always do is make sure that as I buy fuel, I'm using the old fuel first. So, like we rotate our stocks, our food stocks, and we use the oldest food first. That's what I do with my fuel, to make sure that the fuel I have is always the freshest fuel available. And I've showed you kind of this before, but there's some of the diesel fuel, I was talking about. Those are 7-gallon containers, usable. I usually put about 6 in it as well. And the other propane tanks I have are in the house. So one of the things, just to stress, I think is important, is to have enough on hand as a prepper to do what you need it to do. There's no set quantity. It's not 100 gallons, 5 gallons of anything. It's what you need on hand to make it usable for you in a SHTF situation or a power outage. Also, I recommend the fuels you buy, you have redundant equipment or different equipment that can use that type of fuel, so that, for example, I run out of propane, I can go to kerosene, or I could go to diesel fuel, and I have the equipment that would operate off of those fuels and not affect my survival in any way or fashion. So, just wanted to show you that real quick, and my opinion on what we have. It works well for us. It may not work well for you. So this is Iron Prepper saying thanks for watching. And as always, I truly thank the community for supporting me. Thanks.